Hello and welcome to tonight's SBC News. In a meeting held at State House, President Wavell Ramkalawan today met with representatives of the Association for Lesbians, Gays, Bisexuals, Transsexuals and Intersexual, also known as LGBTI Seychelles, to listen to their experiences and concerns about the discrimination against people solely because of their sexual orientation. They discussed how the needs of people with a different sexual orientation could be met so that they are accepted and respected by society. Amongst the issues raised was the difficulty faced by same-sex couples to have their marriage recognized by civil status. This relates mostly to same-sex couples who got legally married overseas.
There's nothing in the legislation that prohibits the recognition of same-sex couples in Seychelles. And we have a lot of couples, for example, who are same-sex, who are residing overseas. And we basically want them to feel encouraged and safe to return to Seychelles, for the different government bodies to understand that there is nothing criminalizing such. And therefore, we need to work together to have that better education, especially with civil status, to have those couples recognized legally. The president was well received what we put forward, and obviously it's the law of the land that is what will take precedent. And since we don't have those restrictions, then we need to have a look at how can we better put the structure in place to have those couples recognized so that we can all live as equal members of society.
And President Ramkalawan this morning also met professional basketball player Abdel Silla. During the meeting, they discussed ways to improve the sport in Seychelles and Abdel's professional career abroad. Abdel Silla plays basketball in France. Careers and Tertiary Education Progression is a new division that will be replacing the Agency for National Human Resource Development. The division will consist of 3 sections that will be based at the Ministry of Education. It was last week that the Cabinet of Ministers approved the repeal of the ANHRD Act 2013 and transfer of the Scholarship Administration section of the ANHRD to the Ministry of Education. During a press conference this week, the Principal Secretary of Education Sector Development, John L'Espérance, said that this will allow them to work more effectively.
Within that division, we will have a 4 section. One of the section will look at communication and careers education. The other one will look at tertiary and professional center placement section, and the other one is to administer a scholarship. Now, as for education, under the 3 sections that I've mentioned, we will also be establishing 2 specific committees. One to help with the administration of scholarship to ensure that everything is done transparently and more efficiently. So one committee will look at scholarship administration, and then another committee will look at the placement of students in tertiary education institutions, so that we are able to coordinate our work and efforts in a manner which is more sustainable and also efficient.
The Employment Department will create a new division called the Policy Planning and Human Resources Division to implement this new decision and implement the new functions. The division will focus on reviewing the human resource development strategy and policy and analyzing the labor market demands, the skills in demand, and also we will continue our existing work with the existing policy section in the Employment Department.
The Women's Parliamentary Caucus today visited the Centre for Deaf and the School for the Exceptional Child. The visit is part of the Women's Parliamentary Caucus of the National Assembly's programme for the year. Members of the group spent more time interacting with teachers and students and see the day-to-day running of the schools. The Women's Parliamentary Caucus mandate is to encourage and advocate in favour of children and families and maintain close working relationships with local government, ministries and departments related to children and families. The aim of this visit was also to work in close collaboration and better exercise their oversight role as provided for under the Constitution. Its chairperson, Regina Esparon, said the visit has given them the opportunity to see the challenges faced by the two institutions, and they are now in a better position to understand how to go forward in helping them. The Finance and Public Accounts Committee, the FPAC, will be carrying out a public hearing tomorrow. It will address the audit findings of the Attorney General's special report on the FA4JR scheme. The hearing, which will start at 10 a.m., will be broadcast live on Radio Sicile and SBC2. The board of the Seychelles Fishing Authority has agreed to provide one unit measuring 954 square meters in the SFA warehouse at Providence for 6 months rent-free to the Seychelles Trading Company, the STC. This decision, which was taken by the board last month, saved STC a total of 1.3 million rupees. The chairperson of the SFA said that this comes as part of the ongoing national effort to reduce the cost of living in Seychelles. STC's CEO, Siana Bistoke, welcomed this gesture, which she said would be a great help to the STC. The contract is for 2 years, and it was signed by both Mrs. Bistoke and SFA CEO Nicole Elizabeth. STC has already started making use of the facility to store food items. A Kenyan delegation is in Seychelles on a 3-day visit to learn about several aspects of the fishing industry. The delegation met with the Minister for Fisheries and Blue Economy, Jean-François Ferrari, this morning. The discussion was around the possibilities for collaboration between the two countries in the fishery sector. The delegation's main aim, though, is to deepen their knowledge in the storage of fish and fish processing.
Being primarily not having been in that business for a while, we said that as we build it, we need to know the expertise and we need to know how things are done. And we looked around and said, who can assist us in this? And we decided that Seychelles, because of its experience and a long time dealing with tuna, would be a very good place, and of course them being our neighbors, and it would be a good place to come and benchmark and see what they do, so that as we build our factory, we anchor it on the methods in which Seychelles is doing, because Seychelles is a success.
Those are our main stories so far this Thursday evening. Join me again at 8. Bye for now.